Atma, Namaste, and welcome. Today we continue with Back to the Basics, where we go through Grandmaster Cho's book, Miracles through Pranic Healing, on specific chapters and building a good foundation for our healing practice, our spiritual development, and all parts of our life. Before we start, let's ask for blessings. To the Divine Supreme God, Divine Father, Divine Mother, to all the spiritual elders, holy masters, saints, archangels, holy angels, spiritual helpers, personally to my teacher, Master Chokok Sui, Mahaguji Meiling, we humbly invoke for divine light, divine love, guidance, help, healing, and divine protection. We thank you. In full faith, so be it. Right, so before we start, let's do a quick cleansing. The ones who are new, what we do is we chant Om, focus on 5 areas: the crown, the hands, and the soles of the feet, to allow the divine energy coming down the crown to just flush out our hands and feet and the entire aura to clean it so we can learn faster. All right, so tap your crown, press the center of your palms, focus on your feet, 5 areas. You ready? All right. Om. 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 Just be still. All your chakras are being cleansed. All negative thoughts and emotions in your aura are disintegrated, extracted, expelled properly. Your chakras are being cleansed. You feel with so much divine light. Just be receptive. Om. 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 Be still, be aware, let the energy flow through you, disintegrating, flushing out all blockages, negative thoughts and emotions out of your chakras, your aura, and your entire energy body. So be it. Just be receptive. All right, slowly open your eyes. How do you feel? Better? All right, pick up your book. Of course, there's different covers of this. Go to chapter 2. We're dealing with the nature of the energy body. We're dividing this into 2 parts so we can go in more detail. All right? So if you go to chapter 2, depending on which book you have, this is page 12. All right? We'll just go through, I'll read a few of the texts and then we'll go to in detail. The energy body interpenetrates the visible physical body and extends beyond it by 4 to 5 inches. The invisible luminous energy field, which follows the contour of the visible physical body, is called the inner aura. Okay, when the energy body becomes sick, it may cause by general or localized depletion of prana in the energy body. This is called pranic depletion. All right, inner aura of the affected is reduced about 2 inches or less. It goes on to say that when the eye, in some cases, when there's eye problem, it's usually like nearsightedness is depleted, and in some severe cases, it could be depleted and congested at the same time. So just try to remember that. We'll talk about it. All right. You can learn to feel the inner aura with the palms in 2 to 4 sessions. Following the book. Of course, you can just take the class. Makes it a lot easier. Feeling the aura is called scanning. So we'll scan and feel the energy field. Sickness may also be caused by excess prana in localized area for a prolonged amount of time. In the next paragraph, this is called pranic congestion. Okay, it could protrude 7 inches or more. Severe cases could be half a feet, 2 feet. Actually, we've seen cases 3 or 4 feet. All right. An example of a person suffering from heart enlargement has pranic congestion in the heart, left shoulder, and upper left arm. Next one, in pranic depletion congestion, the surrounding fine meridians and bioplasmic channels are partially or severely blocked. We'll go through that again also. And it just goes to in detail messages, talk about certain cases. The color could be light gray or dark green in color. If it's inflamed, it's muddy red. You notice a lot of things that are inflamed are reddish physically, right? In cancer, it could be yellow red, appendicitis, muddy green, and some ear problems, muddy orange. All right, so let's go through it in detail. First of all, when he talks about the inner aura being, what's that, 4 to 5 inches, this is for everyday people who are not on a stringent or diligent spiritual practice. Because as soon as you do a lot of meditation, spiritual practice, qigong, tai chi, things like that, your energy body is going to be much larger than inner aura of 4 to 5 inches. All right. Now he talks about congestion and depletion. So I'm going to go through this very quickly, and then we'll come back to it. All right. This is the image from the book. I'm just using this so it's easier to see. You'll notice there's the inner aura, which is the one closest to the body. That follows the contour. So in other words, if it goes like this, goes in, right? That's the inner aura. Then we'll go to the health rays afterwards. Now, if you look at this image, I hope you can see it. On this side, it's called pranic congestion. On that side, it's called depletion. Now, the question is, how do you know if something is protruding or not? Right? How do you know if something is too much or too little? You have to have a baseline. It's just like if you stick a thermometer in somebody's mouth and you come out and you go, oh, there's a reading of whatever number. How do you know if the body has fever or not? You say, well, what's normal? Exactly the point. The mistake a lot of people make is say, oh, this area is depleted or congested. The question I usually ask is, based on what? How do you know something is too big or too little? You have to have some form of reference or what we call a baseline measurement. All right? So the smartest thing to do is something like this. You first think, okay, what is normal? So assuming you practice scanning already, you scan at least 3 to 5 areas. Okay? So for example, you scan the shoulder, the hip, the head, the arm, the leg. You scan a few things and you say, oh, okay, normal is 5 inches, approximately. Then anywhere else you check, if it's less than that, right, a lot less, we call it depletion, like it dips in. So compared to that 5 inches, let's say used as a reference, if it dips in, it's called depletion. If it sticks out, it's congestion. So essentially, when you're scanning the inner aura, there are 3 conditions. Normal, yeah? And then what? Depleted, congested. All right? So that gives you an idea of what we're talking about. Now, earlier, in part of the book, he says an area could be congested and depleted at the same time. You say, how could that be possible? For example, I remember many years ago, Message was healing this lady of eye problem. And that's exactly, just like he said in the book, he'd say, oh, the top right corner is depleted, the left lower corner is congested. And I'm thinking, how in the world do you, the eye is this small. How do you scan that? Well, guess what? Here's the trick. All you have to do is visualize the eye big, enlarge it. Just like some of you have used photo editing programs. Remember, you go, whoop. So you make it bigger, you visualize the area bigger, and you can literally scan the entire area. You will notice some areas stick out, some areas dip in. So that's the meaning of having congestion and depletion in the same place. All right? Now, let's move on. The question I have to ask you is something like this. Energy always goes from high pressure to low pressure. High concentration, low concentration, right? So if that's the case, let's work with this again. If that area is depleted, that area is congested. If that area is depleted, that means it has no energy, very low. Oops. All right, if that's the case, if there's more energy in the environment, higher concentration of energy in the area, how could that area that is depleted stay depleted? In other words, if there's energy everywhere and this area is low energy, why doesn't it just go in? All right, next thing. Sorry, I don't know if you can see that. Next one, congestion. How could something stay congested? If that area has more energy, yeah? How could that area stay having more energy, higher concentration from the environment? Why doesn't it just disperse? You understand the question? So, the easiest way to understand is something like this. The area where there's a depletion, Okay, I don't know if you can see this. Oops, sorry. Okay, the area that has depletion, even though it's depleted as in low energy, there's still a thin layer of dirty energy in the area. In other words, it's blocking the channels. The congestion, just imagine there's a big blob or the little, not a little, a big concentration of energy that's packed in there. I think the easiest way to understand is something like this. If I take sand and I go like this, what happens? It scatters, right? All right. So that means it's, when I go like this, from concentrated in my hand, it scatters, it dispersed. Okay. High concentration, low concentration, like that. Now, what you call a blockage, imagine if this is the area affected, it's depleted, right? So if that area is depleted, that means there's a layer of negative energy that is compacted in that area. So it's so concentrated there that it acts like a shell that prevents energy from going in and dirty energy from going out. Same thing with congestion. If an area is congested, okay, let's say this is normal. From this is the body, this is the aura. It's sticking out like that, yeah? That means there's a big, thick, concentrated, compacted energy that prevents movement of energy to go in this way or that way. Now, let's have a short review. I think we covered this in the first chapter when we talk about pranic healing and energy. Some people say, oh, there's no such thing as dirty energy. There's no such thing as, what do you call this? Disease energy. Everything's God, everything's love, whatever. Anyway, see, the problem is these people, they don't try to understand it. They just go by, oh, everything's good, everything, yeah, right. Let's try to understand it. You go to the cleanest place on earth. You inhale. You still have to exhale, right? You go to a place where the water is pure. You drink, you still have to pee. You eat, you have to go toilet, correct? Same thing. As your energy body and your chakras absorb fresh prana, it will have to release old energies. It's just like even the cleanest water, the cleanest vehicle that we know of, at least I know of, the hydrogen car. As it uses hydrogen as fuel, it still has a byproduct, isn't it? Water. So anytime in the universe a fuel is utilized, there will always be a byproduct. You inhale fresh air, you exhale carbon dioxide, correct? There's always this cycle. So the chakras, the energy body absorb fresh prana, it uses it, and it releases it. So the question is, what happens when you eat a lot and you don't go to the toilet? I know, big problem, right? So what happens? Things get compacted. That's what you call constipation. Well, what would happen if these chakras and the energy body absorb fresh life force, release all the energy, but somehow that person gets really angry and upset? Okay, let's have a simple experiment. Put your hand like this. Ready? Hold your hand like this. Verbally say anger to your hand 5 times. Go. 1, 2, say anger. 3, 4, 5. The other hand. Say happiness 5 times. Go. 1, 2, verbally. 3, say happiness. 4, 5. Done. Put your hand like this. If you're sensitive, you notice it's heavier. And if you go like this, it feels thicker, right? Okay, go like that. So imagine the chakras are, absorbing fresh life force, releasing all the energy, but this person gets really angry. Well, guess what happened? The solar plexus have that heavy energy blocking it. So compared to the rest of the area, it's now compacted. Now the question is, would fresh energy be able to go in? No. Would dirty energy that's inside be able to come out? No. It's like blocked, like putting a cork on it. Or somebody has an injury, right? Somebody gets hit. So that area, the energy, instead of flowing, got trapped in the channels. That's why he said, in between congestion and depletion, the energy channels could get blocked. So when it gets blocked, how's the flow? Exactly. So congestion depletion is basically fresh energy not being able to flow freely. Disease or dirty energy cannot go out, right? So when people say, oh, there's no such thing as that, I think they better study more. The funny part is, I've heard people say, oh, I don't believe in that stuff. There's no such thing as dirty energy. Really? But they don't like negative people. Well, what are you not afraid of? That means you could stand from somebody screaming who's psychically attacking you. It shouldn't bother you because there's no such thing as dirty energy. You get the point? I know that sounds harsh, but you see, the thing is, when you're studying, you have to be absolutely objective. Right? Let's move this along. So this congestion depletion happens in the inner aura. Now, part of pranic healing is, we'll go to the other chapters, you first cleanse. The question is, why do you cleanse? Remember the blockage we said earlier. If that area is blocked either with depletion and congestion, common sense will tell you, if you don't first remove the congestion and you start pouring energy into it, all right, let's take a look. All right, here we go. So if an area is congested, the area is depleted. Remember that the big blob over there and that block over there? If you just pour energy in, is it just possible you shove it deeper? In both cases. Yeah. You say, well, why would anybody do that? Exactly the point. But you see, not everybody has studied healing the way Master Choa has. So clairvoyantly seen, when you see this congestion depletion, if you just put energy in, it either shoves it deeper, or it's possible you push it out. But most people, if they're not aware of it, or they do not have that energy, you cannot really remove it. You get the point? Or some healers, since they have such a good heart, they really want to help someone, they subconsciously, as they try to put the energy in, remember your chakras spin in both directions, we'll talk about it, they subconsciously suck it into their body. In fact, some shamans, that is their healing technique. They intentionally absorb the disease energy of the patient or the client, and then through meditation, sleeping a long time, they flush it out of their system. There's one more technique. For some gifted, specialized, or special healers, what they do is, since their energies come from, let's say, a divine source, I'm talking about, let's say, healing angels healing through them, or, there's just a super healer with a huge spiritual cord. A lot of times when they touch the negative energy, it gets transmuted into light. Okay? You say, whoa, okay, that's the case then. Simple question. Out of 100 people, how many people you think has that capability? That's one. Number two, and how would you know? What if you're not? You just blast it with energy, the person gets worse, then gets better. You get the idea? But everybody could go like this. You get the idea? So that's why in pranic healing, we'll go to in detail. It involves cleansing, removing the blockage. So it's more efficient for fresh energy to go in. In fact, when you just do simple cleansing, as we remove all these blocks, we don't have to do anything. Fresh life force has now a pathway to go in, so the healing already starts. Okay, so that's the part on depletion and congestion. Let's move on. Now, next page, page 13, it talks about the inner health and outer auras. Let's see. From the surface of the physical body are bioplasmic rays perpendicular projecting from it. The rays are called health rays, which interpenetrate the inner aura. The sum of these health rays is called the health aura. The health rays and the health aura are roughly 2 to 3 feet in length. Now, you remember we talked about that. Everything is different. So let's say the inner aura is 5 inches, as it says on the earlier paragraph. If that's 4 or 5 inches, then let's see. The health rays are about 2 to 3 feet. What if the inner aura is like 2 feet? So this one will probably be 6 to 8 feet. You get the idea? It keeps getting bigger. The health aura follows the contours of the visible physical body and functions as a protective force field, which shields the whole body from germs, disease energy in the surrounding. We'll talk about that. Toxins, waste, germs, and disease energies are expelled by the health rays predominantly through the pores. Remember that. If a person is weakened, the health rays droop and are partially entangled, then the whole body becomes susceptible to infection. The capacity of the health rays to expel toxins, germs, disease energy is greatly diminished. Healing is facilitated by strengthening and disentangling the health rays. If it's okay with you, I'll just read through the whole thing so we can go through it with one shot. All right. Beyond the health aura is another luminous energy field called the outer aura. It interpenetrates the inner and health auras and usually extends about 1 meter away from the visible physical body. Okay, so 5 inches for the inner aura. Health rays kind of go out, right? Let's see what they say. 2 to 3 feet, and the outer aura is about 1 meter. So 1 meter is about 3 feet. So you get an idea, all these interpenetrate. So the health aura, the health rays could actually go a little slightly further, but here you have this bubble, okay, called the outer aura. It is usually multicolored, shaped like an inverted egg. Its colors are influenced by the physical, emotional, mental states of the person. Cleverly seen, some sick persons have been observed to have holes in the outer auras which prana leaks. Okay, it leaks out. Therefore, the outer aura can be considered a force field that contains or prevents leaking of pranic energy. In a sense, it acts as a container for subtle energies. The size of the chakras, inner aura, health rays, health aura, in the outer aura may considerably increase as the human race evolve to a higher level. Remember, we talked about that. All right, let's go through it. All right. So the easiest way to understand is something like this. Right. So you see these rays of light, right? You notice when you look at spiritual pictures, you see saints with lights coming out. Well, here's the good news. Everybody has them, right? I think a popular one that most of you know of is this one. Our Lady of Guadalupe. Yeah? Oops. Where'd he go? All right. You've seen this before, right? So you notice there's rays of light coming out. Those are health rays. All right, let's go back to what we were talking about earlier. So on this one, just imagine from every pore of your body goes out a ray of light. But what people don't realize, this ray of light is not solid. It's like a tube, a hollow tube. Okay? So this hollow tube is where disease or dirty energy get flushed out of your aura. So every time you sweat, from your pores come out liquid, right? That's on the physical side. Energetically, guess what happens? Grayish clouds come out of your aura. So every time you exercise, you sweat, or you take certain foods, disease or dirty energy or old energy gets squirted out. That's why exercise is very, very important. Okay? So let's go through it in detail. How do I explain this? All right. Put your hand like this. Okay? Put the other hand like this. Ready? So this top hand, try to see if you can feel something on the bottom hand. Now follow me. You feel something on this hand, on the top hand? If it says you almost feel like a, yeah? All right, simple rule. Every time on a part of the body that has a chakra, if you compress an expanded body part, the health rays become straighter and it squirts out disease or dirty energy, so the chakras become more active. So just by understanding this principle, you can look at someone doing yoga, qigong, tai chi. By looking at how the body moves, you can tell, what chakras is being cleansed, what chakras is being energized, what chakras are being stimulated, and so on and so on. Because every time the body is releasing dirty energy, or disease or dirty energy, or used up energy, the health rays become straight and just releases clouds. Okay? So in this interesting way to understand is something like this. A lot of people, after working the entire day, they say, their body's tired, right? They run to the gym and work out more. Now, if you think about it, on the surface, it doesn't make sense. You just complain your body doesn't have energy, you're tired, and yet you go out and go, run some more. It's just like saying you're already exhausted, and okay, go run. On the surface, it doesn't make sense. Or here's another one. You say, your body's so tired, you could barely lift your arm. And you go to the gym, you start getting a dumbbell, you go, it doesn't make sense. But you see, if you talk to a doctor, because you produce endorphins and so on and so on. Okay, that's on the physical side. That's good. Energetically, based on what we just covered, every time you compress and expand a body part, what happens? The health rays straighten, and any stale, disease, old energy from inside the aura and the chakras get squirted out, as in literally shot out of the health rays. So the health rays, when you exercise, become straight, and then just imagine you're absorbing light, and then you're squirting out gray clouds. That's why when you exercise, how do you feel? You feel lighter, right? Okay, you sweat. Well, that sweat is the physical side. Energetically, all the energy gets expelled. So if you want to have a healthier body, you do not want to store all that stale old energy in the body by sitting on your butt and do nothing. You might think, oh, I'm resting. Yeah, you're resting, but you're also allowing that stale energy to settle. I mean, you don't have to go out and run, 100-mile marathon. Well, that's too long. Anyway, you get the idea. The idea is you do simple exercises, get the energy moving, do what? To get the health race to release old energy. Okay? Now, he also covers, what do you call this? Straightening the health race. So in other healing traditions, they call it combing. Like comb? Combing your hair. Right? It's called combing the aura. The interesting part is your aura does not have hair. So what the heck are they combing? You see, they use that term because when you comb hair, you have hair that's in strands, correct? So it's like a metaphor that, okay, can you comb hair, something in strands to make them all straight or go to a certain direction? When you're combing the aura, you're literally combing the health rays. Now, the sum total of all those health rays is what you call the health aura. Now, some people who need something more visual, you know what a porcupine is, right? It's got spikes, or whatever you call these, right? Just imagine somebody looks at you and look at your health aura. You look like a porcupine of light, radiating light from every pore of your body. Now, if your body's healthy, it's even, like it's bright everywhere. As you inhale and exhale, you suck. Your body's like you're sucking light, releasing gray clouds. That means there's a continuous flow of fresh life force, old energy, and so on and so on. But let's say someone, falls and hits their shoulder. That area where the damage is, physically, it's bruised, it's painful. Energetically, okay, I use the book here. I don't know if you can see it. So, if they're healthy, the health race is even. Yeah? If the area, let's say the shoulder is affected or the arm, that area, you notice it's less energy because the health race, instead of being straight, what happens? Get tangled. So when they get tangled, old energy cannot go out, fresh energy cannot come in. Does that make sense? So instead of light going this way, it's now like that. So obviously, things cannot go out, things cannot come in. So when you do combing, or what we call in pranic healing, straightening the rays of light, as they become straight, the person's body, energy body, can breathe. That's why that's very, very important. We'll go through the technique. That's why general cleansing or general sweeping is so important before you even attack the individual localized area or topical area where the problem is. It's very, very important to do a general sweeping of the entire aura. To what? To remove stuff off the surface and make those rays straight. Okay? Now, what else? Oh, one more. He also states that this is like a protective force field, right? So let's look at it this way. Let's see. In psychic self-defense, you have the book Panic Psychic Self-Defense, the class. You are born with a natural energy shield. Even if you don't believe any of this stuff, even if you've never heard of it, you are already born with a psychic shield. That psychic shield is your health aura. Okay, the question is why? Because the rays of light go like this, right? So anything that comes in, just imagine you have rays of light, all so tight, and all of them are shooting energy that direction. Yeah? Of course, there's fresh energy going, but essentially they're like spikes everywhere. So anything that needs to come in have to force its way in if it's negative. Only negative energy goes out, fresh energy comes in. So if negative energy is coming in, it's being pushed out. You get the idea? That said, that's why having healthy physical body is your first step in psychic protection. Haven't you noticed when your body's sick, it's harder to take bad news? Because when your energy body is weak, anything people say, boom, goes in. But if your energy body is strong, the health rates are straight, somebody tells you something, whatever, we'll deal with it. because it doesn't get to go in. It gets pushed out. So even if you don't wear crystals, you don't have a shield, you don't have anything, you already have a psychic shield now. All right? So your first line of psychic protection is having a strong physical body or a healthy physical body, because that healthy physical body means what? There's a fair exchange of fresh life force and old energy. So the health rays are very, very strong. Now, when you heal, you cleanse, you energize, so on and so on. When these health rays are straight, fresh prana can come in. The body has higher capability of helping itself, healing itself. If there are toxins in the environment, your body can easily push it out. Your defense system is stronger. That's what he says. Okay? Last part, outer aura. So the outer aura, right here, is the bubble. If I want to carry water from one place to another, I need a container. So the outer aura is like the bubble that holds everything in. When people have energy leaks, that's what he's talking about, pranic energy leaks. That means energy's draining out, so they cannot hold the energy in. Well, it's just like a balloon. If there's a hole, what happens? It keeps collapsing, correct? Or a barrel that has water, you put a hole in it, it keeps draining. So when the energy drains out of the aura, how does the body have fuel to heal itself? Right? So just as a preview, the thing that people think is, oh, yeah, there's an energy leak. Let me just put energy to plug it in. Nope. Believe it or not, the way to remove the way to fix a hole in the aura or an energy leak is through cleansing. We'll talk about it in subsequent chapters. The question is why? Just to kind of a preview. All right. See that depletion? Right. That so-called depletion, energy dips in, right? So energetically, if this is the outer aura, that area, just imagine inner aura, health aura, outer aura, correct? So if this is depleted, that means those health rays are not shooting out. So that means the health rays are also in. So if that's the case, the outer aura could also dip in. So when it's dipping in, sometimes when you scan it, it feels like there's a hole. Or sometimes if there's disease or dirty energy draining out, that outer aura, that means only clean energy is draining, dirty energy is stuck inside. So when you clean it, you remove that block, fresh energy goes in, the hole that you felt disappears, it instantly gets filled up with fresh life force from the environment. Okay? So anyway, I hope you learned something. That's part 1 of the energy body. I'm looking to this book. When we go to part 2 of the energy body, we talk about the intimate relationship between the energy body and the physical body, and how negative energy first appear in the physical body before it manifests as an ailment, and how your mind can affect your aura. And we go through the chakras. All right? So thank you very much for joining us. Feel free to rewind this video and study it a little more. Other than that, let's give thanks, shall we? To the Divine Supreme God, Divine Father, Divine Mother, we thank you for your great blessings. Personally, to my teacher, Master Choa Kok Sui, Lord Mahaguju Mailing, all the great ones, holy gurus, holy masters, saints, archangels, holy angels, spiritual helpers. Again, to my teacher, Master Choa Kok Sui, Mahaguju Mailing, thank you for the blessings and the teachings. In full faith, so be it. All right. I hope you learned a lot. And we went through a lot of detail, and I know I talk really fast, and that's because I want to pack as much as I can in this 30 minutes. All right, so stay tuned for part 2 and 3. No, there's no part 3. Then we go into the chakras. Okay, other than that, as always, please leave your comments. We'd love to hear from you. We'll try to use these images, so have the book with you so you can follow along. I think that's it. Okay, leave your comments somewhere here. And again, thank you very much. I know a lot of you have been donating to keep this video ministry free. If you don't know, the ones who are new, you're welcome to. You don't have to. We like to keep this video ministry free so more people can avail of it from different countries all over the world. And if you donate, you'll go to paying for expenses so we can expand and be able to touch more lives. Other than that, thank you very much. Atma, namaste. Atma means soul. Namaste. You guys take care. And we'll see you next time. Bye.